I'm Bradley Carter. Here's my audience. Humans have this weird little thing called passion, and we always want to share this passion because it's the individual things that we enjoy that makes us unique. Oftentimes, people just call this art, but I think we need to expand our definition of art a little bit because realistically, anyone can apply their passion to anything, but we always associate art forms with something artful, like a painting or a movie or songs. But I think there's always been a different kind of art form. It's always been treated as second fiddle, as not even art. Video games have been a passion of mine for over 10 years now. They're my greatest enjoyment, my biggest hobby, and they take up most of my time. But frankly, I believe that video games shouldn't be treated as any less of an art than all these other art forms. Because realistically, it's the same. They share so many common concepts. Why are they treated as separate categories? So today, I'm going to be working to persuade you to believe in the artistic value of video games as a result of their evolution over time, what commonalities they share with other art forms, and how a niche audience can enjoy it regardless of what it's described as, just like any other art form. So let's go to the beginning. I've already kind of said what art is in that it's just an expression of someone's passion, but why are video games treated as so much less than that when you think the same amount of work goes into it than, say, a song? But according to Keith Stewart from The Guardian, he states that the stigmatism that came with video games was because of their origin as an arcade cabinet. If you're looking at an arcade cabinet, they were repetitive and almost unimaginative because they're just meant to take up our time and suck up quarters. They're made to make money. Could someone argue that Pac-Man is still an art form? Definitely. Would it be a lot harder than the argument I'm making? Most likely. But that doesn't change the point that besides those origins, video games have progressed much farther than where they started, and yet they're still treated like they never left that point. So, what exactly is the problem then? Why do people still share this hatred or this repulsion to wanting to group together video games with other art forms? They say it's just for entertainment, it's just for fun, it's still mind-numbing, and to a degree they're right. But I ask, how is that different than any other art form? How is that different from sitting in a movie theater and you just sit and observe and watch a story for 2 hours versus being engaged in the plot? You are the character, you are engaged, you are involved in everything that's happening around you. Why is one treated less than the other and it's the one you wouldn't expect? Why is being engaged suddenly mind-numbing as opposed to further expression? But besides just that, besides how it should be more engaging and therefore more of an art form, it shares a lot of commonalities with these other art forms and yet is still treated as less. Take a song. There's different composers and singers, and there's a lot of thought put into what kind of feelings this song wants to evoke. Most video games, especially in the modern era, always have background music. They put so much thought in between what kind of mood they want to be expressing in different moments, similarly with a movie. I think a movie is what I can easily compare it to because it has multiple aspects of art, where it has different frames and it has different characters and emotions, and it tells a story. So why is it that when it has all these aspects of a painting, where you could freeze a game at any point and you can see all the work that went into it, or it has songs playing, or a story and characters that you care about, why is it suddenly less than all these other things? Let's talk about pizza. So say someone takes a piece of pizza and they say, yeah, it has cheese and sauce and crust, which is all food, but put it together, it's not healthy for you. So I say it's not food because it's not good. See how that really doesn't make sense? Translate that to video games. It has all these different art forms, music, plot, storytelling, characters, like theater. Put it all together, some people don't like it. It's not art. In what universe does that make sense? So see, when you put it all together, realistically, it shouldn't be considered less than in these other forms, but simply because it's less popular or it's looked down upon, then it's seen as less valuable. But besides just that, does it really matter? If someone says that video games are or are not an art form, does that impact what it is at its core? Like with my pizza example, those ingredients are all still food. To a degree, you cannot deny pizza is food, whether it's good for you or not. So even though video games have all this artistic value, and someone says it's not art because it's not popular or it's not what they're used to, does that make it any less art? Take when there were revolutionary poets and painters who were completely changing the scenes with abstract art or romanticism, and it was things that people never thought of before. At the time, they would say that wasn't art because it's not what they were used to. So, if video games is abstract art, is it right to call it not art because it's abstract, when its beauty is what makes it different and makes it hated? See, it just really doesn't make sense. I feel like I can point this every which direction at you, and I just feel so passionately about it because that's really all I can give you. I can give this gift to you of, here's my facts, and therefore this makes sense. But realistically, if it doesn't matter to you, you're still going to stick where you are. Because in the end, it still appeals to a niche audience. Just like any other art form, many people didn't like abstract art because it was so weird. There were many that were still full support of it, and that's why it's still around. There will always be supporters of different art forms. And if we're thinking music, do some people say that art form or music that they don't like isn't really music? Would you look at rap and say, and it's just words, they're just talking? Or if you look at metallic music, it's just noise. It doesn't really make sense because some people still appreciate it for those qualities. So when you translate that to video games, people are very passionate about these things. There's all these different genres, different audiences it appeals to. Even within that social circle, many people can still enjoy particular parts of it. But it's so much more than art form too, because it's a way of growing with other people. It's a social platform. It's a way to grow and learn. It tells stories, life lessons. So why does that make it less valuable than a painting that has to be interpreted? Why are these two things so very different? When looking at their basic qualities, they are pretty much one and the same. So, in conclusion, it doesn't really matter what you think, because whether you deny it or agree with it, this is art. It ticks all the same boxes. It cannot be denied. And frankly, whether you agree or disagree, it shouldn't belittle my own enjoyment of it, because this is something I can believe in. Thank you.
Still here.